You ever walk into a place so big, so quiet, it feels like it's holding its breath? That was the Mason estate, this massive house up in the hills of Willow Creek, owned by Daniel Mason, a guy who made billions but lost everything that mattered. His twin boys, Ethan and Caleb, were 6 years old, and let me tell you, they were a handful, slamming doors, hiding in corners, driving every nanny out the door in under 2 weeks, one of them crying on day one. Daniel? He was a ghost in his own home, drowning in work, avoiding those kids like they were a mirror of everything he'd lost when their mom passed. The house wasn't a home. It was a museum of grief-polished floors, empty rooms, and a silence so heavy it could choke you. Nannies came and went, each one thinking they could fix things, only to leave defeated, muttering about those impossible boys. But the truth? Ethan and Caleb weren't bad kids, they were just lost, aching for someone to see them, to stay. Daniel didn't see it. Or maybe he didn't want to, too buried in his spreadsheets and late-night calls to notice the drawings piling up on the fridge or the way his boys stared out the window, waiting for him to care. Then came Sarah, this pregnant woman who showed up one spring morning. No fancy resume, no big promises, just a quiet smile and a way of moving that said she wasn't scared of the cold in that house. She didn't barge into the boys' world with rules or loud pep talks. She just sat there, on the playroom floor, stacking blocks, reading a book out loud to no one at first. Ethan ignored her, Caleb peeked over his shoulder, but Sarah didn't push, she waited. One day, she pulled out a puzzle, started piecing it together, and left space for them to join. Slowly they did. "You ever make a mess and not get yelled at?" she'd say with a grin when they spilled juice, turning cleanup into a game. The boys started following her everywhere: kitchen, garden, even the laundry room, like ducklings trailing their mom. They'd ask about her baby, eyes wide. "Can he hear us? Does he like cars?" Sarah answered every question like it was the most important thing in the world, and those kids, who'd barely spoken before, started to open up, their voices filling the house with something new life. Daniel noticed, but he didn't get it, not at first. He'd watch from his office, catching glimpses of Ethan giggling over a paper boat or Caleb helping Sarah fold a towel, and it hit him like a punch: his boys were changing, and he hadn't done a damn thing to help. Guilt gnawed at him, but so did doubt. "Who am I kidding?" he'd mutter to himself, staring at his laptop. "I don't know how to be their dad anymore." He'd built walls so high: work, control, distance, that letting them down felt impossible. But Sarah? She wasn't just reaching the boys. She was showing him what he'd missed. One afternoon, he walked in and saw the boys drawing on her pregnant belly with marker scribbles, stars, and then, in wobbly letters, the word brother. Ethan pointed, proud. "That's for him." Caleb nodded. "Our brother." Daniel froze. Those words cracked something open in him, something he'd locked away since his wife died. Tears came, raw and unfiltered, right there in front of everyone. The boys didn't flinch, they ran to him, grabbing his hands, pulling him to Sarah's side. "Feel it, Dad," Caleb said, pressing Daniel's hand to her belly. A soft kick answered, and Daniel broke, sobbing, not from pain, but from hope he hadn't felt in years. That moment wasn't just a scene, it was a turning point. Daniel started showing up awkwardly at first, fumbling through bedtime stories about elephants that didn't make sense, but the boys ate it up, laughing, adding their own twists. The house changed: 2 toys on the stairs, blankets draped into forts, laughter echoing where silence used to live. When Sarah's baby, Lucas, was born, Ethan and Caleb were there, whispering, "Hi, brother," like they'd known him forever. Daniel looked at them, at Sarah, at this tiny new life, and realized family isn't about blood, it's about who stays, who loves, who builds something real. The Mason estate wasn't a museum anymore. It was a home, messy and loud and perfect. But here's the thing: what do you do when love comes from someone outside your family, someone who's not supposed to matter that much? Does it make the bond less real, or more? Drop a comment below. Tell me what you think. Have you ever seen a stranger change a family like this? And hey, if this story hit you, give it a like, subscribe, and let me know where you're watching from. Let's keep this conversation going.